Hi, everyone. Welcome to our marketing minicast. My name is Lynn Grigorski.
And I'm Ann Popolizio.
So today for our first minicast, we're going to talk about something that happened to my company back in February that I experienced. And we went into Instagram jail. Rapunzel Creative's account went into jail, which I don't know how that happened because everything that we put up on our account is about the work that we're doing. There's really nothing that's very offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this began around Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day for me with this. Right? I tried to log into our account on my phone. And when I did, and I got this notice that said our account had been compromised.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was like a weird looking message too, like the graphic was weird. So I didn't know what was going on because it was right around an update to my phone. And I actually suspected that maybe it was something weird that was going on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But it said, follow these steps to try to get your account back.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and followed the steps. And then immediately as I went through the steps, it said, oh, your account has been disabled for violating our policies. So is this something common that you hear about?
Yes. Unfortunately, yeah, it's really common to see accounts get disabled sometimes for cause, sometimes for no cause. Anytime Facebook makes a major change to its platform, we see a rash of disablings. We actually see it more commonly with the ad accounts than with the organic profiles. But if it's a computer that's reading the behavior on your profile. So if it detects anything that's weird, it errs on the side of shutting things down. And so if it detects what it thinks is bot activity, it can either freeze your behavior or completely shut things down. And in your case, it was also wanting you to verify your identity, and then the system was being extremely glitchy and wasn't even letting you finish that process. So if there's, it was, whether it was something that was connected to your account or it was just Tuesday, the system then is glitchy and weird and very opaque. You just feel like you're sending your stuff out into the ether and you have no idea if it's actually landing anywhere. And it's very, very difficult to know where you are and if you've got what you need. And then if the system won't, accept the pictures it asks you to upload, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, so I think in our case, it was just Tuesday. I do believe that was what happened. And a couple of weird things I want to bring up in case other people are experiencing the same thing. So the first thing is that when it asks you to identify yourself and wants you to upload like a business formation document or a passport or something like that. And to me, I was like, oh my God, this is so sketchy. What is going on with this account? And I was really nervous to do it, but I kept getting the same message. But then the other glitch that I ran into was it let me check off all the boxes that were like, oh, what's your company name? What's your EIN? All this other stuff. But then it wouldn't actually let me upload a document to verify my address. So that was actually broken on my phone. But somewhere along the way, I ended up getting this email from Facebook, and it was from some weird Facebook address. And so the message says, in order to verify your address, we want you to write this number down. And they gave you the number in the email. Hold it up on a piece of paper, make sure your hands are showing. I feel like if someone's writing me a ransom note, right? Make sure your hands are showing. Make sure the number is showing. Don't cover your face, right? And then take a picture, right? And if you're in your office by yourself, right? Just like you only have a few ways to do this, right? Take a picture and email it to us and we'll review your account. So I was talking to our coworkers going like, is this legit? And everybody was like, it's a scam. Don't do it. Right? But then when I spoke to you, you said that is actually legit.
That's actually how they do it. Yeah. It can be really difficult to tell a scam apart from legitimate Facebook communications. Uh, and there, especially last year, there was a whole wave of, or multiple waves of spam hacking attempts that were impersonating Facebook. So the ways that you can tell if a communication is legit, Facebook actually has a published list of domains. It has a few different domains that it uses. And so if the email is coming from one of those verified domains, it is legit. The other thing is that Facebook will never contact you via, well, in your exception, it popped up in the app, but it's not going to, like the scam from last year, what it was doing is it was creating these fake Facebook profiles. The logo was just different enough that the algorithm wouldn't flag it right away. And they obviously weren't doing any paid stuff, which is when it really does the analysis for logo impersonation. And they'd change the blue, or it would be slightly off center, and they'd create this profile called like Facebook business support or something like that. And or they wouldn't even use the word Facebook, they would just call it business support, but it had the Facebook logo. It would look official, and they would message your page saying your account has been flagged, click here if you think this is wrong, click here. And it would prompt you to log in, and people would steal your login information that way. So it can be really tricky to tell the difference. But yes, that whole like hold your picture up and feel like you're like in jail or something, that is actually a legit way of them verifying that there's a human being. Now, they could make it actually harder for businesses to advertise. But in your case, you weren't even advertising. This wasn't even a paid side of things. This was the organic side of things. So in your case, it was asking for this picture, but it's their system is reading that there's like an actual person, it's checking that it's not photoshopped, and it's making you jump through all of these hoops to confirm that you are a real individual behind this this identity. And it is tricky, but it is that and the domain check are the two ways that you can verify that it's a legitimate communication. And the other thing is that they'll never message you through the page. They will always email like admins. They'll always email admins via their email that is on the account, on the business manager account.
Mm-hmm. I just have to think though, Anne, for like the average, business owner that's trying to manage their own account, that this must be just completely confusing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you and I have discussed before, I know someone else who had the exact same thing happen to them. I guess it was about a month prior to yours. And she was, she went through all of the steps and she was never able to get her account back. We were able to get it for you because you had a couple of things already set up and in place that identified it as a business account. And that gave us access to a higher tier of support. And then it was just a ton of persistence. And, but even then it just, it felt like we were talking in circles to a black hole of Facebook support for a while.
It was a black hole.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would recommend to people is if you find yourself like you haven't even gotten to the black hole of Facebook support and you can't seem to find a way out, you definitely want to get in touch with somebody like Anne, and we'll provide her information at the end of this to help you through it, because she is able to get a higher level of support that a lot of us can't get. And that was really, right in the end, what saved our account.
Yeah, and the other thing that it was that, and the other thing was that you already had linked your Instagram to a business manager account. If you hadn't done that, and they when I went to support on your behalf, they specifically said, because the account's linked to a business manager, we can support you here. If you hadn't done that, if you were just running ads out of your personal ad account and had not trying to run a business out of a personal Instagram account and hadn't connected everything via a business manager, I don't think I would have been able to do anything for you.
Mm-hmm. So that's the advice, is be sure that you're connecting Facebook, Instagram, everything to business manager.
Correct,
be sure you're going in and verifying your identity and that you're answering everything that they want to have answered.
Yeah, exactly. You know, do the full setup of your business manager account, give it all of the business information that it asks, verify it to the furthest extent that you can. There are different tiers of business verification. And some businesses, there's a level of business verification that you can do, but there's certain criteria that you need to have in order to be able to do that. Like, and we, you know, we looked into it for you and you didn't meet the criteria. But yeah, I mean, the thing to know is like, I have to verify my identity every 6 months, basically. Not that I only had to do the weird like picture with the sign once, but after that, I do have to re-upload my ID about every 6 months because we manage accounts with high followings, and because we manage accounts that are of that cover issues of national importance or you know, housing, things like that.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that you had mentioned and asked me about was if we were using any third-party apps to manage Instagram. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know, Facebook has its, you know, Facebook and Instagram, they have their terms of service and they take those very seriously, and the community guidelines. And if you violate them or it thinks you violated them, it will shut you down, no questions asked. One of the things, you know, one of the pieces that both you and this other person I know had in common at the time was that you did have a third party tool doing some activity in the account at the time. Now, that's not to say all third-party apps are bad. I mean, Agora Pulse, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, those are third-party apps that are absolutely legitimate and you can, you know, integrate with Instagram, but those are authorized third-party apps. And there's certain things that people want to do on Instagram that those apps will not do because it's not in line with the community guidelines or the terms of service. And so there's all these other apps, and you hear a lot of like gurus talking about them. They're like, oh, go do this, go do that. And clients are always asking me like, oh, have you heard of this app and that app and that app? And it's like, no. And the reason I haven't heard of it is because it's not actually an authorized app and it will get your account shut down. And it's the number one, these unauthorized apps that are trying to circumvent the limits of Instagram. They will absolutely get your account shut down. It's the number one cause of accounts getting shut down. And you know, if you're trying to circumvent the rules, you'll get shut down. You know, you can do follow and follow manually within Instagram, but even that, it's got limits. Like it'll cap, you know, how many you can do in a day. So you just have to live within its rules. And if you try to circumvent them, you're going to be very unhappy in the end.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we know what to do and what not to do with the Facebook and Instagram third-party apps, which is good because I didn't know about that till this happened. Is there anything else that we should leave people with before we wrap up this mini cast?
I think, you know, it's just there are you want to make sure that your accounts are set up so that you're protected. Make sure that you own all of your assets. You know, don't let another company own your Google Analytics account or your Facebook ad account. You know, have everything under your umbrella. Have more than one business manager admin, but not too many. So have enough access so that if one account gets blocked, you can get in via another account. We have multiple points of access to all of our accounts. Last year, I had, you know, Facebook was doing account disablings like crazy. And I had, in 2 separate incidences, the social squib ad account got disabled and then my personal ad account got disabled. But because I have a way in via both sides for all client accounts, you know, clients didn't notice, everything got reactivated. But Facebook likes to disable things. It's its hobby. It wants to keep you on your toes. I think everyone is it's not a question of if you're going to get disabled, it's a question of when. But having things set up so that you're protected, but always be within the rules of always within Facebook's rules.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was great information, Anne. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I hope this helps other people out there who are as frustrated as I was. And I'm so happy to be back and that we
I know.
This is the best thing ever. So thank you for your help. And I think that wraps up today's mini cast, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody that watched. We would love to get your feedback. Did you find this helpful? Let us know what other topics you would like to hear about. And thanks for being with us. We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thank you.